Well, the incident you're referring to occurred in July of 1976. At that time, we were responsible for providing protective security for Mr. Bulent Ecevit, who was the former Prime Minister of Turkey. And at that time, he was visiting the United States. And on this particular occasion, he was to attend, or did attend, a function at the Waldorf Astoria in the Empire Ballroom. In connection with that function at the Waldorf Astoria, we knew that there was going to be an extensive demonstration outside the hotel directed against him, and we had many concerns because of the large crowd that had gathered outside the entrance to the hotel. I had taken up a position directly in front of him at a lower level but to his right, and I had positioned myself in such a way that I could oversee the crowd that was standing directly in front of them. I think the closest people were as close as maybe 8 to 10 feet from him. At that time, with the crowd chanting and Mr. Ecevit attempting to give his address, I was looking and scanning the crowd, and I looked to my left and then back to my right, and as I turned to look back to the left, I saw a startling scene of an arm extended with an object in the arm pointed directly at Mr. Ecevit's head. At that time, I had an instinctive reaction was to lunge as I perceived the threat, and in jumping approximately 8 to 10 feet, I was fortunately and luckily able to grasp this arm extended with the gun, and then we fell to the floor and began to grapple on the floor with this potential assassin. At that time, the agent, who was the agent in charge, which was Fred Lecker, was up on the ballroom platform along with George Mitchell. And in reacting to my response, Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Lecker picked Mr. Ecevit up and raced out of the area with him. And at this time, while I was grappling on the floor, I was assisted by Special Agent Dave Haas and also Horace Mitchell, who was the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the New York Field Office. And we struggled on the floor with this individual, trying to get him to release the weapon from his hand. And it seemed like an eternity, but I think the struggle lasted for almost a good 30 seconds, at which time I informed Horace Mitchell to grab his other arm and try and brace it behind him. Well, Horace Mitchell grabbed the arm and he put an arm lock on it and twisted the arm, and the arm went around once, twice, and the third time I looked, and to my astonishment, this individual's arm had popped off in Horace Mitchell's hand, and Horace was standing there holding this guy's arm from the hand all the way up to the shoulder. Well, we later learned that, in fact, the individual had only one arm, and that this was the prosthetic arm that Horace Mitchell had twisted off. After realizing, and to our astonishment, that this guy was still human, we thought he might have been an android or some sort, we finally were able to remove the weapon from his hand and render it safe, and at that time